What is up, YouTube? It's Apollo here, bringing you a tutorial on syncing. I'm really making this for a friend who's a Sony Vegas editor and wants to start using After Effects, so he asked me to show him how I sync. And I sync with Twixtor. I sometimes sync with time remapping, as you may know, some people do. But I only do that when Twixtor's giving me too much warping. And people have warping problems a lot on Twixtor, and I'm going to show you how not to do that. Because Twixtor does take some practice, and what a lot of people don't know is you can only use Twixtor at specific spots that I like to call Twixtor spots. And first things I want to talk about is my channel. I'm probably going to be doing tutorials. They're really fun, but the only thing is I don't know what to make tuts of. I could do the basics of tutorials, but I mean, there's only 500,000 tutorials on basic After Effects editing. So I don't know. There's that, and I want to start commentating. I'm gonna be doing a lot of live commentaries and let's plays with my friends. I have some zombies gameplay. Gonna start shooting some Left 4 Dead 2 gameplay, possibly some Walking Dead when that comes out. So look forward to that. I really wanted to do commentating, but I've never got around to doing it. And my friend Wolfstep and I are going to start doing that together. Just as a fun hobby. That way I can start enjoying YouTube, and my channel will be a little bit more active. So first things first, I'm going to show you guys exactly what we'll be making. Here's a little sync I made with Twixtor.
Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance. Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance. Let's go!
Alright, so that's what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you guys step by step how to do that and how to accurately use Twixtor. So let's get started. First things first, you want your song. Here's a song I'm using from a band called Audio Strobe Light. And you can see there what I did to make this composition of the song is all I did was grab it and then just slide it right here and that makes a pre-composition of the song. So I KeepVidded this song. I downloaded it from KeepVid, and a lot of people say not to do that because of quality, but I've been doing that forever and no one's ever noticed. And so after you pre-compose the song, what you're going to want to do is go to your composition settings and copy these settings right here. Basically all you're changing is the aspect ratio from 1280 to 720, and you're using frame rate 59.94. When you're using Twixtor, you always want to have 59.94 frames per second, just because it gives you cleaner warping, I guess. I mean cleaner slow-mo and less warping. The more frames, the better. Some people actually use 300 frames per second. And if you want to learn how to do that, check out a tutorial by Zombie. And but yeah, basically just copy these settings down. Next thing is we're gonna find our sync, and to do that I'm gonna go about 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the song. I know where this little sync spot is at. You know what? Here's a better idea. I'll just copy and paste this into this composition here. So if you guys didn't notice, how I turned off the visual was right here. There's a little eyeball. That's all you have to do to take off this little picture and leave the speaker on. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to find sync and how to make sync. I mean, not how to make the markers for the sync, which is what I have right here. Whoops. And first thing you want to do is, let me clear these markers real quick, guys. First thing you're going to want to do is hit LL while selected on your music layer, I guess you could say. And next things is what we're going to do is just RAM preview the song, and we're going to hit Control 8 on where we want our gunshots to be, or basically along the beat. That's what we're going to be syncing to. I'm on a Mac, so for me it's Control 8 to make a marker. If you don't know how to make markers, all you got to do is go right here to Layer and Add Marker, and there should be your key shortcut on how to make the markers. So next thing is just RAM preview the song and hit Control 8 along the beat. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to perfect the markers in a bit. And I'll show you how to do that after we find this sync. So for me, all I have to do is hit Control, Alt, and period to play the song.
Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance until our time has come. Let's go!
So you may have noticed that I hit Control A along the drums, and so next thing we're gonna do is set up our gunshots. So since I'm using a Mod for 2 clip with intervention, I have this intervention sound effect, and how we're gonna perfect our sync is. Alright, I'm back, YouTube. Sorry about that. I had to do something for my uncle. So what was I believe I was talking about perfecting my sync, which is basically adding more detail to it. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna hold Command since I'm on a Mac. If you're on a PC, you're probably gonna hold Control, and as I'm holding it, I'm gonna kind of scroll through the audio and find like the perfect spot where the drum hits, which I can easily tell because of the sound waves that it's gonna be right about here. And if you go back and forth on it, you kind of it's right that the drum hits at this exact location. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab my intervention sound, hit the left bracket to line it up, and then hit LL on it so I can find the sound waves. And I can easily see that I have to drag the clip a bit because the sound doesn't start right away from the file. And what I'm gonna do now is just lower the volume a bit. I'm gonna put it about -3. That's what I always use. Maybe we could even go lower to about -5, and let's hear how that sounds.
Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now.
That sounds good enough. So now I'm gonna find the next hit, and I know it's around this marker because we made like a sort of like a, I guess you could say, a rough draft of markers. So again, I'm gonna hold Command and play through the audio, look for the exact location. If you need to zoom in a bit, all you have to do is hit minus or plus on your keyboard to zoom in on the timeline. So that's where the second drum is. I need to do this 5 times because there's 5 shots in the clip that I'm gonna be using. Here's the third one, and remember, we're only using the Command or Control button so that we can find the exact location. You could basically hear it where the drum is, because your markers aren't always gonna be perfect. I can say that much. That I can say that it's not very likely that you're gonna set up a perfect amount of markers on the exact right spots. So there are our 5 shots.
Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance until.
So all those shots were hit along the drum. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in our clip. It's a 5-man on-screen from, I believe, Fear Kuruzu. I took this from Yugo's editing contest. And first thing I usually do when I start editing a clip is turn off the game audio by hitting this little speaker, and then I'm gonna scale up the clip to about 103, so I could get rid of the edges. Have the edges on the outside, I guess if you could say, of the window. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I want to make a slow motion into the first shot. So how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna bring the clip into where the gun starts moving, which you can see is about here. To cut this clip, I'm gonna hit Alt and left bracket, and now what I'm gonna do is find each gunshot, and then I'm gonna cut those and line them up with my gun sounds. So I just gotta scroll through this, and syncing can be time consuming a bit. As you can see, this little kind of flare is kind of hard to see, but that's the bullet. So I already know that's where the gunshot is, and you can also kind of tell by your bullet count right here. See, if I go to the frame to the left, I can see that there's still an extra bullet there, and then it just disappears. And by the way, if you want to know how I'm scrolling without hitting this button over here, what I'm doing is I'm holding command, I'm hitting my right key, the right arrow key, and the left arrow key. And if I want to jump 10 frames, I have to hold shift and command, and if I hit this right arrow key, it jumps me 10 frames. And that's just a quick little tip for you guys. So there's my first shot, and now what I'm gonna do is go to my first gun sound. That's about right, and hit the left bracket to line it up. Now let's find our second shot. That would be about here. You could kind of see the bullet right there. It's kind of hard to see because this is a bright map because of the snow. And let's find our last two shots. To split the layer, what I'm hitting is Shift, Command, and D on my keyboard, and there we go, lining it up again. Now let's find our fourth. There it is. There's my bullet shot. You probably want to have your resolution on half to find the most accurate spot from where the time on your timeline where your gun shoots. Sorry for my bad wording. This is my first time doing this, and it's for my friend. And I didn't exactly practice, rehearse, or come up. I didn't plan this out. But I'm gonna try to go as in depth as possible because. Just from experience, I've known that a lot of tutorials for Twixtor syncing kind of leave stuff out, and as you can see, this clip's already lined up perfectly, but I'm still gonna add Twixtor to it later. And so now let's start getting to the Twixtor syncing. So first thing I want to do is drag the rest of this layer so that it meets here to where the first gunshot is, and what I'm going to do is start the Twixtor up here. So select our layer, go to Effect, and we're going to put Twixtor Pro. That's what I use. And then now just copy my Twixtor settings. For the frame rate, I use 59.94 frames per second. Image prep, contrast, edge, enhance. Inverse, change to inverse with Smart Blend. Bring down main BG layer settings and set this sensitivity to 100. Next, we're gonna make a keyframe right here, and that's because if we don't, let's say we change the speed right here, it's gonna destroy the clip. When you set a keyframe to 100, that means everything up to that keyframe is gonna be normal speed, and we want this exact location right here, so we're gonna set the keyframe at 100. And how I brought down the keyframes right here was I just hit U on my keyboard. And now we're gonna go about, you can either go to the next frame and start Twixtoring your clip by lowering the speed, or you can go a couple frames, maybe like 3, 4, 5 frames, and then start lowering the speed. And speeds I use, my favorite, anything between 3 and 5. I generally use 3 the most, and as you can see, our clips now in slow motion. So what we're gonna want to do is go to the frame before the gunshot, which is this one, cut my layer right here, and then I'm going to raise the speed until it lines up with the until it's right before this frame. And that's kind of hard because I have a lot of space right here, and it's gonna be a really slow clip, and it might give me some warping. Something that you should know is you're always gonna have warping in Twixtor. The trick to using Twixtor is trying to make that not noticeable. And as you can see, I believe right here I'm getting some ugly warping, and let's say I don't want that, so I'm gonna want to get rid of that. I'm gonna want to speed up the clip, but you're probably wondering, how am I gonna speed up the clip and still have this lined up? So what I'm gonna do is, halfway between these two keyframes, is keep the speed at about 3. So everything from here to here is at 3% speed. I'm gonna go back to that frame, and now I'll be able to increase the speed again some more. And so now I have it at 53%, which should be good. Actually, that was too much. About there is good. Let's see, is that about right? Yep, that's good enough. And next thing I'm gonna do is find the next spot to start my Twixtor for the next shot. And Twixtor, earlier when I mentioned Twixtor spots, I say that because you can't use Twixtor and around during the clip when there's a lot of movement. For instance, a trick shot, or if your character's the sniper's turning. If you add Twixtor, then you're gonna get warping. So you generally want it when to start Trickster when the player is standing still. If you want a trick shot, sync with trick shot in clips, what I personally do is I just line the clips up, line up the shots with the beat, and then maybe I'll add Twixtor afterwards to just to slow mo the reload. But so here's what I'm gonna do to line up my next clip. I'm gonna go to where the sniper starts zooming in again. So that's about here. And go back to Twixtor, copy the settings. Sadly, you cannot make a preset for these settings, because for some reason when I do it, it just force closes my After Effects. I do not know why, if that's just my computer, but I've heard other people have this problem. So again, set my speed up to 100. So everything from here to here is going to be 100% speed. Go to my next frame, change it to 3, and then just go to the frame before the shot, which is right here, cut my clip, and then just speed up the clip. Nope, that was a bit too fast. As you can see how my clip just kind of jumped, and then it's going to jump backwards again. That's about accurate enough. So I'm going to show you guys some Twixtor spots that I prefer. I already showed you one, which is right here when the gun starts zooming in, but you don't always have that case where you have enough room to wait for the clip to get to the point where the person's beginning to zoom in. Sometimes you run out of time on your clip, and you're not able to start the Twixtor. So another Twixtor spot that I use is during the cocking of the gun after you shoot. I started at about right here, where the number that pops up after your gunshot is at its highest, is when I started. And when you see that the hand right here is no longer showing, see, if I start the Twixtor here, I'll probably get warping on the hand, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna start it about right here. Right here's a perfect spot. So go to Twixtor again, copy down the stupid settings for about the third time. I do this so many times a day when I'm editing. Whoops. Go to the next frame, set it to 3, and then just go to the next clip and line it up. So I'm pretty sure you guys get the concept now. I hope you do. Whoever this tutorial is meant for, you know who you are. Slut. And Twixtor isn't that hard. It just takes practice to know when you should start your warping. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention why it is that we scaled up our clip. I'll show you in a bit. In fact, I'll show you during this clip. So here's a good spot where I can start my Twixtor. And if you notice, everywhere that I'm starting my Twixtor, there's not a lot of movement. The sniper's generally stationary, so that's a good thing to keep in mind when using Twixtor. Okay, the reason we had to scale our clip was let me just downscale the clip a bit. With Twixtor, for some reason straight lines tend to warp, so you have these black edges around your clip, and when you're Twixtoring, sometimes it'll make these lines sort of bend. I don't know how to show you that intentionally, but we don't want that. You'll probably see it someday. You'll just see these lines come in and start warping like hell, and it just looks disgusting. Let me see if I could try to force it. Here's an example. We just saw it. You see, this would kind of happen at the edge, and we don't want that. So it's easier to just scale the clip back to 103. So yeah, let me delete that keyframe. That's why we scale the clip. So once again, let's just go to that frame. And I'm trying to mention everything that's important to using Twixtor. I hope I am. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. And Twixtor does take some trial and error sometimes. Like say here, let's say we Twixtor and it's really slow, and you see this ugliness. How you would get rid of that is just setting the speed right here, leaving the speed right here at 3 at that location, and then just making the movement even faster, because the warping's still there, but since we're moving the frames really fast, the eye doesn't notice it. I guess you could call it almost like an optical illusion. It's just what the eye won't notice it. If you pay attention really closely to people who use After Effects, you'll see generally a little bit of warping, but this is the best way to make it not noticeable. So here's the last shot, and then I'm going to show you how I try to, what I call capturing the feed. And by that I mean, this is a 5-man on screen, and most 5-man on screens are faded. The first kill will be faded, so we're going to want to Twixtor when the clip still has the 5 guns on screen. Let me just perfect this little clip here. So let's go to where all 5 snipers are on screen. If you can see, it's a bit faded right there. Here's a good place to start it. I know the hand's there, but it'll disappear because it's still on the motion backwards. Oh, another little trick I can show you guys is changing your sound effects, kind of editing that a little bit too. A lot of people like to make a longer, I guess you could say, gun sound for their last shot. So how we would do that is right-clicking the layer of the gunshot, the last one, go to time stretch, and let's change this to about, I don't know, 130 or even 150. Let's see how that sounds.
Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance until our...
I don't know if you can notice, but that did sound a little bit different. So let's check out what we have right here, guys. So yeah, this is my Twixtor tutorial. Basically, the trick is just practice and try to use the Twixtor when the sniper's stationary, not moving, only when he's zooming in or zooming out. See, for there, right there, for instance, if I would have started Twixtor there, you would have seen warping as the character's moving. So and as you can see right there during the render, there was warping, but it's not gonna be noticeable. You'll see during the clip that not while I'm playing it, that it's not something huge that you notice, and not a lot of audience of your edits will notice. So just keep that in mind. You might be disappointed that they're still warping, but there's always going to be warping. It's just a matter of not making it noticeable. So we're almost done here. Hopefully this tutorial wasn't long, but I wanted everything to be covered. What in the world? I did not.
Let's go!
That was a fail by me. I forgot to lower my speed. Luckily I still have the keyframe. So go to the next keyframe. Lower it to 3. As you can see, the 5 mans are still on screen right here. So let's play this. And pay attention to the last sound if you didn't catch what I did the last time.
Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance until our time has come. Let's go! Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance until our time. Let's go! Let me see you put 'em up right now. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Just know we're taking every chance until our time.
So yeah guys, that was my Twixtor tutorial. Sorry if I was confusing. I didn't practice this, rehearse this, or even generally plan this out. My friend just asked me to make the tut, and I did it on the spot. So please like, comment if you have any questions, favorite if this really helped you, or even add this to a playlist so you could come back to it later on. And thanks for watching. Peace.